G'day battlers, and today we have such an exciting video because today we're going to be taking a look at JakeDoesHurdles landing a massive 6-0 Labyrinth Cup tournament sweep that was not only up against a massive stacked competition, but propelled him up to number 30 in the entire world, which is such a massive accomplishment. And not only that, but look at his team right here, and you can see that he actually used Lugia and Cradily, which are two Pokemon that you might not have even heard of being used in the Labyrinth Cup before right this minute. So absolutely insane. And by the way, I believe that Jake actually streamed his run live on Twitch, so a link to his Twitch channel in the description below if you want to go give him a follow as well. Does do a whole lot of self content there too. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it and find out how Jake reached number 30 in the entire world. Going into round 1 up against PkmTrnrHaris, you can see we've got the teams on the right hand side, and Harris has actually got that Zapdos, which is a pretty interesting pick, and I'm hoping we might be able to see it at some point. We'll just have to wait and see. But in the lead here, we've got Vigoroth up against the Alolan Marowak, which is not where Jake wants to be. Counter and Body Slam are both going to be resisted, but he's going for this Bulldoze to try and sneak some super effective damage through onto the Alolan Marowak. Does get the first shield though, so that is a bit rough for this Vigoroth here, because the Fire Spins and Bone Clubs are really going to start adding up onto this Vigoroth. I can see he's already down into the yellow, and yeah, he's able to sneak a counter through there, which might mean that Vigoroth is able to sneak in an extra Bulldoze before getting taken out. Bulldoze won't be enough to take out Marowak at this range, so Marowak is going to be able to Fire Spin down, but is going for the Bulldoze, so the opponent doesn't have to shield. It's just whether they really want to keep it around. Does decide to let it go through, whether that's because they thought it was going to be a Body Slam or not. Ooh, actually going for the charge move here, so they definitely didn't have to do that. I think they were just a little bit scared that a Body Slam was going to come through and take out that Marowak, so they still win switch advantage, so they accomplished their goal there by throwing the charge move regardless, and in comes the Cradily. Cradily is a really interesting Pokemon because it has the grass and rock typings, so fire is actually only going to be doing neutral damage. So decides to Bullet Seed down this Marowak, which is a massive play, getting so much energy on that Cradily. I think he's actually at 100 energy now going into this next matchup, and it is the Vigoroth. So Vigoroth is going to be doing massive damage with counter, so Jake really doesn't want to be here, so decides to go for the Grass Knot, does like almost half health, and instant swaps into that Lugia, and we are now seeing the battle of the legendary birds. Going for the Sky Attack here. Sky Attack is going to be resisted by that Zapdos, but Zapdos is pretty squishy, so it still will do a fair chunk of damage there. Zapdos getting pretty low now, and I think that's extra sensory. I think that's the fast move animation, but Zapdos coming in here, no shield, and is the Thunderbolt, which does so much damage there to the Lugia. In comes back the Cradily. Cradily still sitting on a fair bit of energy and letting the Drill Peck come through. That does so much damage. Jake holding on to that last shield, really just trying to save it for later. Decides to hit the Grass Knot and hit no bubbles, trying for the full Bullet Seed farm down of the Zapdos to have enough energy to throw a charge move to take the shield and the Vigoroth in the back. Unfortunately, just not enough. So we're going into game 2 here. Jake is back with a vengeance, and this time it is night time. And a much better lead here with Alolan Marowak up against the Zapdos. So Zapdos will do a fair bit of damage with its charge moves to the Alolan Marowak, but Alolan Marowak is still doing tons back to that Zapdos, so it's a little bit back and forth. It could go either way depending on shields. Jake decides to let the first Drill Peck come through. It is now going for the Shadow Bone. Massive move here. We'll see if it does pay off for him. Unfortunately, the opponent does shield. That is definitely rough for Jake here. He's able to get this Bone Club off, but it isn't going to do tons of damage just because of the flying typing on Zapdos. So it is still resisted because I think flying double resists and electric is single weak, I think. But unfortunately, he's able to get another charge move off before Alolan Marowak is able to take it out. So lets it go down, again taking the shield advantage, bringing the Cradily in, this time into the Zapdos, getting hit by another Drill Peck. This time Cradily isn't as low. The opponent is swapping into Vigoroth, so Jake counter swaps into Vigoroth of his own. Swapping a Vigoroth into a Vigoroth with energy is definitely a bit of a scary proposition. Jake does have the shield advantage though here, so he's going to be able to burn 2 shields to the opponent's 1 and might be able to come out on top there. Jake counting the amount of counters that the opponent was using, sneaking his Body Slam in just before the opponent got to theirs, and actually getting that last counter in to take it out before another charge move comes through. Did not even have to burn the 2 shields and able to take it out. In comes that Alolan Marowak, and here we are again. It's farming up a little bit of extra energy and now going for the Bulldoze. It's really trying to land it on that Alolan Marowak this time because Cradily is not going to love this matchup later on. Lets the Bulldoze go through, which is really great for Jake here, and now lets the Vigoroth take this hit. It is a Bone Club. Actually decides to not hit all the bubbles, so maybe it was just they regretted hitting it straight away, or they was just trying to use up a little bit of energy, but I think it might have been regret. Able to get this Body Slam off, just trying to chip down as much as possible off this Alolan Marowak. Swapped into the Cradily, maybe trying to sneak in a farm up to the Grass Knot to be able to throw it, but just not going to get there. Shields up the Bone Club there, maybe maybe in case it was a shadow ball. But in comes the Zapdos, and again, going for the Bullet Seed farm down here. I think Cradily is going to be able to tank this Drill Peck. It is one more Bullet Seed, he's able to take out the Zapdos, and it is just that Alolan Marowak in the back. He's got back-to-back Grass Knots here, so he's going to throw one, hope to get a shield from the opponent there, and throw the other one before a charge move can get in, and Cradily is going to be able to take this second game out for Jake here. So it is now 1-1, and we'll see who takes out round 1. Vigoroth up against Zapdos. This is another sort of back and forth-ish sort of matchup. I think Zapdos actually wins in the 1 shield, but Vigoroth might win in the 2 shield. Body Slam just does do so much damage to the squishy Zapdos, but Zapdos has such a high attack stat that it is doing a lot of damage back to that Vigoroth. We'll see what does end up playing out though. Goes for the first Body Slam, and we see a match of 0 shield. So we'll see if one does get the Body Slam off before the other. Actually, never mind. Swamping out into Marowak, trying to Fire Spin away this Zapdos out of existence, but a charge move is going to come through first off. Dual Peck comes through, Marowak able to tank it though, and swapping out of the Zapdos, so that is still around for later. I don't think it really had much energy to go off though, so I'm not sure how good of a play that was. Just trying to deny the extra farm on Jake's Marowak here, and I actually said it wrong before. This is a Shadow Ball Alolan Marowak. Unfortunately for him though, the opponent did shield the ball, and Jake just ate a lot of damage there. Going for another Shadow Ball here. Will it go through and take out that Marowak? Does not go through. Jake is now at the 2-0 shield scenario, happily able to take let this Alolan Marowak go down, because he knows that he's not going to be able to get to a charge move. The opponent undercharges the charge move there just so he gets an extra Fire Spin off farm, which is a pretty good strategy. Comes in and going straight for that Stone Edge. Oh, never mind, farming up extra energy. In comes the Zapdos, trying to catch the charge move, but just wasn't happening for them. The opponent now deciding what to do. They're clearly not too happy about seeing this Cradily around. In comes the opponent's Vigoroth, and Jake swaps his Vigoroth back in, using up this Body Slam energy that he had from before. Does do a nice bit of damage, and Jake still has that 2-0 shield advantage. This is going to be really rough for the opponent to come back from. Gets this Grass Knot off, which is definitely going to take out the Vigoroth from this range. The opponent was definitely, trying to spam quick that Body Slam to get it off, but just wasn't happening. And now, still no shield on the opponent's end. Getting this Stone Edge off will do so much damage to that Alolan Marowak. One hit and it is gone, and Jake has taken out round 1. Going into round 2 now, up against MudkipedAZ, who is running a Tropius and a Skuntank. Definitely excited to see how this is going to go. Now we have the Cradily versus Air/Tropius here. Stone Edge is going to do a lot of damage to that Tropius if he is able to get it to go through. Charges up to the Stone Edge and then swaps out into a Alolan Marowak, and the opponent is going for that Aerial Ace. Not going to do tons of damage, but swapping out into Skuntank now. Skuntank is going to be able to do a lot of damage if it gets crunches off, but these Bone Clubs are also going to be super effective back, so we'll kind of just see, it's a bit of a war of attrition. We'll see what does end up coming through. Gets another Bone Club off, but the opponent's charge move coming through first. It is probably going to be that crunch, so Jake decided to shield up there, and is going to go for the Bone Club. No fast move stuck in, which is always great to see. Not going to take out the Skuntank by any means, but is still getting that shield so that Mudkip can get another crunch off on his Skuntank before a Bone Club comes through. Mudkip was probably counting the moves there, gets this crunch off perfectly timed, and Jake actually letting it go through this time. Wanting to keep that, not wanting to get into the shield disadvantage there, and here he is again, Cradily, the absolutely clutch pick, getting even more energy for later on. That could be such a dangerous pick later on. And the opponent actually bringing in that Alolan Marowak. Maybe they were a little bit scared about getting hit by a Stone Edge later on from the Cradily, because it does have so much energy. But again, we're in this matchup with Vigoroth up against Alolan Marowak, which is a matchup you're going to see a fair bit in this meta, because both of these two are massive meta picks. Landing the Bulldoze again, a little bit of lag there, but it is mutual, and it's just a matter of catching up, getting this Body Slam off before Marowak has the chance to do much. Just trying to whittle down that Marowak down a little bit more, and it is able to get that through. Looks like they were throwing the charge moves at the exact same time, which is always great to see for Jake's end here. Tanking the Bone Club, the counters are actually starting to add up, even though they're resisted, and getting the Body Slam off onto the Tropius, which could be huge here. We'll see how it does end up playing out. Body Slam actually doesn't do as much as I thought, but instant swap into Cradily and gets the Stone Edge off before Tropius can even blink. Gets that last shield off of Mudkip, and because he farmed up so much energy in those last two sort of matchups that Cradily was in, able to get another Stone Edge off after just one more Bullet Seed. Take out Tropius, couple more Bullet Seeds, and down goes the Mudkip. Absolutely amazingly played there from Jake. Such good energy management. But going into game 2, we have Marowak up against the Tropius. Instant swap out into Marowak Mirror. So we'll see if they are expecting the Shadow Ball, and if they do, maybe let this go through. It could be huge for Jake here if this goes through. It might just be game over. Mudkip might just have to quit. It does not go through though. Burns his first shield. Does Jake suspect that there might be a Shadow Ball coming through? There is a Shadow Ball and it lands. That is devastating for Jake. And now swapping into the Cradily, so leaving that Marowak for later. Maybe a switch, maybe something to a sort of third shield to catch a charge move later on. We will just have to wait and see. But shielding up the Shadow Ball successfully there from the Marowak. And I'm not sure if there was a switch there, but he's going for the Stone Edge now. And if it does land on that Marowak, which it does, that does take it out there. In comes the Skuntank now. So Cradily isn't really loving this matchup up against Skuntank, but Stone Edge is just such a good neutral move, and it does have stab because Cradily has the rock typing. It is going to do a lot of damage to that Skuntank, even though it's not really doing, not like the best typing matchup. Going for the Grass Knot here, but the Crunch is going to come through first up, letting it come through. Oh, it is actually the Sludge Bomb. So that is going to take out the Cradily there. Oh, looks like, oh snap, Jake just successfully caught the Crunch onto the Alolan Marowak. That is absolutely huge. I think Jake needed that move to go through. Absolutely clutch. We'll see if it does eke out the win there. Lugia a bit too big for the shield. Unfortunately, its face still got hit by the Crunch there. But going to try an extra sensory right down. One more and is able to do it. Has a lot of energy. The opponent still has a shield though. Going for this first Sky Attack. Are we going to see it? Or we'll presumably see a shield come up from Mudkip here. Ooh, no shield actually. Just flaunting it. Going to take it. And they are able to sneak in an Air Slash here. This really could go either way here. Getting the first shield there. And only has to get to one more Sky Attack to take out this matchup. I'm not sure if Tropius' charge moves are going to be enough. We'll just have to wait and see what he starts to go for. Does go for the Aerial Ace, and it is not enough. The Sky Attack goes through, and this will take out the Tropius, and this is going to be GG's for Jake here. Absolutely masterful gameplay coming out of Jake here, and this is why he is number 30 in the world. Going to game 3 now. This is not where Jake wants to be once more. Alolan Marowak up against the Politoed. Politoed is just doing so much fast damage. He's got a fair bit of energy stored up there, ready to go, so has to be careful about that for later on. Mudkip swaps into the Alolan Ninetales here though, which is really rough because the Stone Edges are still going to do tons of damage. So it's a bit of a swapped into something that can still get really countered by it. And Ninetales doesn't have any moves that are going to absolutely Shrek the Cradily here. Goes for the Weather Ball. Is actually going to be super effective because Rock doesn't resist it, which I kind of I sometimes forget my typings. I need to learn them one day. Lands that second Stone Edge though and takes out the Alolan Ninetales. In comes that Skuntank. This is kind of more what I expected to see, but maybe just trying to use up that Pokemon and save all the shields from Politoed later on. Going for the Stone Edge here, does go through, again doing a fair chunk of damage, going into the Alolan Marowak now. So at this point he just wants to get rid of the Alolan Marowak, because Politoed is a terrible matchup for Marowak. So brings it out here, able to soak up some of that energy from the Skuntank, and Mudkip actually throwing the Weather Ball straight away, which Jake is like, okay, sure, use your Politoed's energy, that is absolutely fine by me. Brings in the Cradily, isn't quite able to get to the Grass Knot before another Weather Ball comes through. He does decide to shield so that he can get this Grass Knot off. A little bit wary about a switch out potentially coming, but gets it off now. Will we see a shield come up from the opponent's end? There is the last shield. There are no more shields in play. This Weather Ball will take out the Cradily, and it will just be up to Jake's poor Lugia in the Vigoroth in the back to take out this matchup. Going for the Body Slam here. I don't think this is going to take out the Politoed. Weather Ball similarly though isn't going to take out Vigoroth, so could be a little bit of a chance to get some energy here by countering all the way down. Could actually be going for an Earthquake or a Blizzard here. We'll see if Mudkip shows his moveset. Is the Blizzard still not going to take out Vigoroth? And in it comes that Skuntank. Gets this Body Slam off to take it out. And I think we'll be able to counter down the Politoed in the back when it comes back in. In it comes, 1, 2, able to take it out, sweeping the entire round up against Mudkip. Going into round 3 now, up against Kiki034014, who has this Mandibuzz, and Mandibuzz is such a scary Pokemon in general. It is just so bulky. Even landing a super effective move onto it, it is still going to eat like multiple of those things. It is such a scary mon. We'll just have to wait and see how much Stone Edge does if he is able to get one through. See, actually the downside of Mandibuzz is that it isn't doing much damage output. It's just so very bulky. Jake going for the first Stone Edge here. We'll see if it ends up going through. Lands onto the Mandibuzz, so it does a little bit over half, which is still really great here. Another charge move coming through from the Mandibuzz is the Foul Play again, just trying to add up as much damage as possible. Jake, with that Bullet Seed charging up so fast, is going to get another Stone Edge off already. Mandibuzz was able to sneak in a Snarl there, so we'll see if that does change things. Burning Shield from the opponent's end. Jake is within his rights to just burn a shield here and keep going, get a Stone Edge off, but does decide to let it go down. Really just playing masterfully here and keeping his charge moves, keeping his shields for later on. Brings in the Alolan Ninetales, knowing that it has a pretty good time here. Neither of Mandibuzz's charge moves are going to be doing too too much to the Alolan Ninetales, so you can kind of just soak it up and farm up tons of energy by powder snowing all the way down here. Jake is so keen on getting all these farm downs, and it is seriously paying off for him. Having such a big energy advantage in this cup can clearly be so huge. Cradily absolutely coming in clutch though, but we'll see what the opponent swaps in. In comes that Marowak, and instant swapping into Vigoroth. The opponent instant swaps in kind to the Venusaur. Looks like Jake might have been able to sneak in an extra little bit of a counter there, but getting the Body Slam off, which will really add up onto this Venusaur. One more Body Slam plus these counters will be enough to take it out. So shielding up, burning Jake's first shield there. Again, keeping the shields and the energy. Jake's in such a powerful position here. Farming up extra energy before a Frenzy Plant can come through and getting this Body Slam off, maximizing the amount of energy that he can store up for later matchups. Getting that last shield from the opponent though, and actually the opponent farmed up a little bit extra. Maybe they were counting this time, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to get a Body Slam off straight away, or maybe just knew that he probably wasn't going to. Jake, seriously, going for the another farm down. So much energy on this Vigoroth now. You're able to get the Bulldoze off, which will bring this Marowak down pretty low. Low enough that Cradily could swap in here and I never mind, a lot of Ninetales. I'm getting so mixed up. Jake has energy in so many places that it's just hard to keep up with sometimes. But going for the Weather Ball here will take out the Alolan Marowak, and that'll be GG's on game 1 of round 3. Going into game 2 now with Cradily up against Venusaur, and this is not a great spot for Cradily because of its rock typing, so swapping out into the Vigoroth, and in comes the opposing Alolan Ninetales. This is kind of rough for the opponent though, because Vigoroth can actually win this matchup up against Alolan Ninetales depending on how it goes. Letting the first Weather Ball come through, farming up so much energy, maybe trying to go for the back-to-back Body Slam here, try to deny a fast move from the opponent. First Body Slam does go through, gets the back-to-back, no Powder Snow sneaking in from the Alolan Ninetales. Is there going to be a shield? There is the shield. Wants to keep this Alolan Ninetales around. Knows that if they just get this Weather Ball through, it will take out the Vigoroth. But do you want to guess what Jake is going to do here? Actually, no, I guess wrong. Gets the shield here, going for another Body Slam to try and take out this Alolan Ninetales. I guess this wasn't the lead. You know, I was thinking that Jake was going to do another classic, just, I'll go down. I'll just save my shields for later on. But at this point, almost able to counter down. Burning both shields, really wants to win this matchup. Does not want to see the Alolan, actually, just doesn't want to see the Venusaur realign with its Cradily. So we'll see what the opponent decides to go for now. See if Jake can kind of play out of it a bit better. In comes the Alolan Marowak and is able to clutch. Get to the Bulldoze before going down. Get that super effective damage right through. No more shields on the opponent's end. So that just takes out over half of Marowak's health. Easy. Brings in that Cradily now. Going straight for the Stone Edge. And if it goes through, it will take it out. Well, there's no shield, so it will go through. So it's just a matter of also getting this energy before Venusaur can come in and wreck. In it comes, swapping into the Alolan Ninetales and going straight for the Weather Ball. Weather Ball will be doing so much damage here. Does that Venusaur have the Sludge Bomb already? Had the Sludge Bomb and is not quite taking it out. Could have gone for the Psyshock there as well. I'm actually not sure which move is a better move to go for up against Venusaur. Both of them would be super effective and really nice. Weather Ball just enough to take it out with one more Powder Snow. In comes that Alolan Marowak, one Fire Spin, down it goes. In comes the Cradily and is only a Bullet Seed away from the KO Stone Edge that will take out game 2 of round 3, therefore taking out the round. Going into the final battle of round 3 here with Alolan Marowak up against Ninetales, which is a really great lead here. Fire Spin's just doing so much damage as we saw in that last battle. But now we have the Cradily versus Alolan Marowak. And Bullet Seed seriously just charges up so fast. Cradily is such a monster in this cup, like holy dooly. It can seriously do damage to basically everything. Nothing is completely fearless against that Cradily that we have seen so far. Getting the first Stone Edge off, and at this point, we know what Jake's going to do. He can just go for a full Bullet Seed down at this point. I'm not sure there's a little bit of lag there. At this point, could potentially also go for a Grass Knot just to secure no more damage coming through. But knowing Jake, we know what he's going to do. Bullet Seed, Bullet Seed, Bullet Seed, and Bullet Seed. Letting this come through, knowing that if it's a Bone Club, it will not take out the Cradily. And it is able to hang on. One more Bullet Seed and down it goes, and has some energy ready to throw onto whatever it was in the back here. In comes that Venusaur, and going for the Stone Edge straight away, which will do a lot of damage to that Venusaur if it goes through. Does go through, taking out over half again, and gets the next Stone Edge. Was that so much energy stored up because of the Marowak farm down that he's able to get another one straight away. Get that first shield off the opponent. Jake in the rare situation where his opponent had the shield advantage, but Vigoroth coming into the Venusaur here is going to be able to tank one Frenzy Plant from the Venusaur, but not going to be able to take another. Absolutely not. Goes for the Body Slam here, which will take out Venusaur at this range. Does not get shielded, and in comes that Alolan Ninetales in the back. So unfortunately for the opponent here, Alolan Marowak is still hanging out in the back for Jake here, and that is absolutely going to just melt away this Alolan Ninetales and letting that Body Slam come through. I think there might have been like a powder snow of lag on the opponent's end, but it really does not matter at this point. Brings in Cradily to try and eat up the charge move, the energy from the Alolan Ninetales, but at this point, it really doesn't matter too much, because no matter what Ninetales does here, goes with the Weather Ball bait for first up, but yeah. Jake can just burn the shield and then 1 or 2 more fire spins, and that will be GG's on the entirety of round 3. Going into round 4 now, up against LunchBoxVII, and this is actually should be a familiar name, because if you watched my See I Was a Beast tournament sweep recap, which we'll link at the end of the video, we actually saw Lunchbox appear in that as well. So really interesting team here on this end, by the way. I'm definitely excited to see all of these Pokemon in action, so we'll see what Lunchbox decides to bring. Cradily vs Jellicent is a really great matchup for Cradily here. Wow, Grass Knot does so much damage. I knew that Jellicent was supposed to be one tanky dude, but that did not look tanky to me. Gets the Shadow Ball through, but even then, Cradily is just going to be able to Bullet Seed right down. Lunchbox in a really rough spot here. Has the Jirachi in the back. So Jirachi is actually in a decent-ish spot here. Not really caring about Cradily's charge moves, but swapping into the Vigoroth now. Vigoroth, because it is not that fighting typing, doesn't care too much about confusion. These counters are definitely going to start to add up, as well as the chance you go for the Bulldoze, which would do a lot. The opponent swapping into Mandibuzz, trying to catch the Bulldoze, but Jake just cleverly went for the Body Slam there. That just happened to be the best move to go for on the Mandibuzz as well. Maybe saw the switch. Maybe his brain is just going 5 RPM faster than my brain can go. I definitely thought it was all going at the same time, although I guess we are a little bit sped up as well. But Vigoroth, again, not really caring too much about Mandibuzz's charge moves, because Mandibuzz, not the attacking dude. And with Snarl's a fast move, doesn't really care about the fast moves either. It's just about getting to these Body Slams before Mandibuzz can get to its charge moves. Mandibuzz is going to get to another charge move before another Body Slam could come through though, and Jake already down 1 shield decides to let it come through. Down goes the Vigoroth and brings in that Cradily, going for the Grass Knot here, because this probably is enough to take out the Mandibuzz, or maybe it's trying to get that shield. Oh, hang on, that was a swap out into Jirachi. Unfortunately for Jake, able to sneak in a confusion there, which is just a free 4 turns for the opponent. Burning both shields, which is great for Jake here. He's now able to get to this Weather Ball before Jirachi can throw a single move, and this actually might take out the Jirachi here. Able to, oh, never mind, 1 mud shot away. This shield will be needed, and that mud shot that we saw go through will take it out. In comes that Mandibuzz in the end, who is not very high health-wise, and yeah, this Weather Ball definitely going to take it out. Even if Mandibuzz got to a charge move, it was not going to be taking out the Politoed at all, just because it just doesn't do enough damage, so that is GG's there. Going into round 2 now, or battle 2 of round 4, Cradily up against Alolan Ninetales, instant swap out into Vigoroth here, and in comes that Jellicent. This is pretty rough for the Vigoroth here. Counter again, going to be resisted, Body Slam going to be resisted, and Bulldoze will do a little bit of damage, but not much. Jellicent, I'm pretty sure Jellicent actually wins this matchup in the like 0 to 2 shield scenario, unless you are running a Hex Jellicent. Hex Jellicent will not win out the Vigoroth matchup, unfortunately, but Bubble, yeah, this is pretty rough for Jake here. Just going to have to watch as Jellicent slowly takes him out. Actually going straight for the Ice Beam there, which is kind of great, because it does mean that Lunchbox has shown his whole moveset here. Wait, does that mean it's Shadow Ball Ice Beam? I think that means it's Shadow Ball Ice Beam. He used Shadow Ball against Cradily at the start, right? So no Bubble Beam on this Jellicent, which makes it a little bit less annoying. And actually means that Jake's going to swap out into the Cradily here. There's the Shadow Ball, and not scared of being Bubble Beam debuffed on the swap out, which is pretty great there. And Cradily, now that he's got a little bit of an energy advantage, was hoping to get the Stone Edge off before the Weather Ball come through. Unfortunately, just not how it played out. So he's able to come through. Here goes the Stone Edge though, and if this goes through, just Alolan Ninetales will not be loving it. But now in the even shields now, not going to quite be able to get to... Oh, I think Ninetales thought that he was going to be able to Weather Ball, Powder Snow down there, but Cradily able to just clutch sneak in that Stone Edge, which is absolutely huge. The opponent now at the shield disadvantage, and able to get the Body Slam off from Vigoroth before going down. Is it going to be even better and catch the charge move? Unfortunately not. Swapping into Politoed, but keeping that Vigoroth for later. Will we see another sack swap later on? We'll just have to wait and see. Politoed pretty well walls all of those Weather Balls coming through. The opponent may be trying to get a shield from Jake there. Goes for the Psyshock now, knowing that Jake isn't going for any baits. Nothing at all. Goes for the Weather Ball now, which will take out the Ninetales. Has a little bit of energy ready to go for the next matchup as well. Just didn't want to get too greedy, otherwise he might have been hit by a Weather Ball. And in comes... It is the Jirachi. So here we are again. It looks like Jake, might have been going straight for the Earthquake there. But, this is pretty rough for Jake here. Like, I'm not really sure that there's much that he's going to be able to do, because Politoed is so low at this point. 2 Weather Balls would have taken out the Jellicent, but then he still would have had to take out the Jirachi. It's really rough here. Shadow Ball shielding up, trying to get up to 2 Weather Ball. Oh, hang on a minute. This Weather Ball is going to be able to take out the Jellicent. And then one more Weather Ball would take out the... oh, no, swapping into Vigoroth, trying to get the charge moves. But yeah, it's going to be GG's here. This Weather Ball, I don't think it's going to be enough to take out the Jirachi. And then Jirachi's Confusion will go through and take out the Politoed, and that'll be GG's. Going to the deciding battle of round 4 now, Marowak up against Ninetales. Jake is sitting there laughing, going, oh yeah, this is great. In comes that Jellicent and able to land the Cradily up against it. That was really devastating in the last battle where Jake just got his Vigoroth stuck, trapped away, and really put him basically at a Pokemon disadvantage. So this time, Jake is just hard corrected, not bringing that Vigoroth at all because he is far too smart to be doing that, playing that way. Gets that Grass Knot through, and I think we all know what's happening now. He's going to Bullet Seed down and basically get another charge move of energy ready to go for whatever does come in the back. Because again, no matter what is coming in, Cradily has a charge move to throw. Cradily is actually such a powerful mon in this cup. Like, I think people are a little bit too scared to use it because Vigoroth exists and Canada does a lot of damage. But I think we've clearly seen here, just from Jake's playing, that Cradily is an absolutely powerful mon, and I might even use it in a tournament at one point. But going for another Grass Knot here, just trying to weaken down that Toxicroak as soon as possible. In comes the Poliwrath here, Politoed here, and the opponent was a little bit slow on the swap to the lower Ninetales here, so able to get this Earthquake off pretty fast, and ooh, does go through, does do a nice little bit of damage to the lower Ninetales. I think a Weather Ball might be enough at this range to take it out if it does go through. Eats a Psyshock, that is all good. Going straight for the Weather Ball, does not want to get the chance by getting hit by another Weather Ball coming back from the Ninetales at all. So yeah, down goes the Ninetales, in comes that Toxicroak, one Weather Ball, and that will seal it, but is not able to get it off before this Mud Bomb comes through. Jake deciding that it's a little too risky to kind of burn the shield there. Let's Poliwrath go. Politoed. Why do I keep saying Poliwrath? I think I'm just too used to seeing Poliwrath in like normal other metas. But swapping into the Cradily here, presumably trying to catch the Mud Bomb, could have almost cost maybe... Oh, I guess not really. I was going to say, like, that was a bit of a risky move because it could have cost Jake the game there just by giving Toxicroak enough energy, but it's just so low at this point, and Mud Bomb isn't going to do enough to this Marowak that it's going to take it out. So once this Fire Spin goes through, Toxicroak will go down, and Jake will win round 4. Going into round 5 now, up against brajSF. I'm a big fan of the name with a lot of E's in the middle and a 7 at the end, if you know what I'm talking about. But Vigoroth up against Lanturn here. This is like taking me right back to, I don't know, was it Jungle Cup? Must have been Jungle Cup, which was like, you know, in 2019. Absolutely crazy how times have changed, but Vigoroth vs Lanturn is a pretty solid matchup for the Vigoroth here. It's just getting so much damage off so fast, and Lanturn is such a slow Pokemon that it's just not able to do that much. Jake actually letting this charge move come through, really banking on the fact that it was a Thunderbolt there and not a Hydro Pump, able to get another Body Slam off here. And the other great thing about Lanturn from Jake's perspective here is that the quick moves are doing absolutely nothing. It is just up to Lanturn to get to those really big, expensive charge moves to try and take out this Vigoroth. And Jake actually lets it happen. He is happy to get into this scenario in the 2-to-1 shield and able to bring in Cradily there. The opponent swaps into Vigoroth, and here comes Jake's big Lugia. Lugia is just such a crazy Pokemon. I'm so jealous. I really wish I had one in the Great League. I'll keep trying, I suppose. Especially now that we have trade distance, 40km trade distance. But Body Slam going to come through here, and just showing off that Lugia, even in the Great League, is a pretty tanky dude. Oh, we're seeing the Aeroblast here. If this goes through, Vigoroth is just going to sleep. Oh, Jake going for this screenshot there. Really just wanted to save that for later. That is absolutely insane. The opponent is probably sitting there in awe, mouth open, going, what? What? And now there's a Cradily with 2 shields to 1. This isn't over because this Venusaur is definitely going to be doing a lot of damage to the Cradily if he can get a charge move through, but because Cradily does charge so fast and does also have the shield advantage, might be looking pretty good for Jake here. I'll just see how it does play out though. Shielding up the first Frenzy Plant, getting another Stonage off here. We saw before how much damage it did to a Venusaur, and it's not going to it's not a one-hit KO by any means, but it will do a fair bit of damage. Potentially a Grass Knot might take it out here, but because Grass Knot and Stonage are just on pace to be charging at the same, they're going to be charged on the same Bullet Seed here. I don't know if there's a reason to go for Grass Knot. I guess you still save energy for later, but at this point, there isn't much of a later to save energy for. Stonage goes through, takes out the Venusaur. Here comes that Lanturn and a couple more Bullet Seeds, and that will be, get the Grass Knot off. And yeah, this will take out the Lanturn, and this will take out game 1 up against brajSF. Going into battle number 2 now with Vigoroth up against Alolan Marowak. Again, this is a spot that Jake has has kind of been in a rough spot before. In the very first battle of this video, it was in this same spot and is going for the exact same strategy. Going for the bulldoze straight away to try and get some super effective damage through, and the opponent plays the same way as well, burning the shield on the first charge move there, knowing that Marowak is in a pretty good spot here. We'll see how it ends up playing out though. Does Jake sneak in an extra counter on the next fire spin? Unfortunately not. So it is playing out a little bit worse than the first game for Vigoroth here, which I think Jake actually did end up losing there. But going for the bulldoze nonetheless, and unfortunately the opponent, because he didn't sneak in that counter, is not able to get to another bulldoze, and the opponent just going to bone club him away and able to bring in the Cradily now. So Cradily with the shield advantage is just going to, like, there's no chance that if they decide to burn all their shields that Alolan Marowak is going to win this fight. And Bone Club too is not going to do much. Shadow Bone, similarly, not going to do a ton. Swapping into the Vigoroth now, and again, we are into this Lugia versus Vigoroth scenario. The question is the opponent more willing to shield now that the threat of Air Blast has been firmly placed onto the table? Are they aware of what is coming their way? Do they know? Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't even know the Air Blast count, so I wouldn't have even known if you threw the Sky Attack that it might not have been an Air Blast, but charging up a lot of energy there, and again, going straight for the Air Blast. If this goes through, it will be massive for Jake here. Oh, again! Another one! Oh, the opponent must just be crying right now, going, "Why Aeroblast? Why?" They're like, "Niantic, I thought you protected this move. I thought you like announced Aeroblast Lugia back in like January and then delayed it because of the pandemic." But no, here we are. Aeroblast is here and it is destroying Vigoroths left, right, and center. In comes that Cradily now though, is taking a charge move from the Marowak. So if this is like a massive move, oh, that is a lot of energy just lost from Jake's end there, which is really unfortunate. But lucky for Jake, there is a Venusaur in the back, so he's definitely still got some play here. Goes for the Sky Attack, hoping that it will take out the Venusaur at this point. Not quite, a couple more. Oh, that is really unfortunate for Jake there. If he did get the charge move off from the Cradily, that game absolutely would have been won, but unfortunately just was not meant to be. So going into the deciding game 3 with Vigoroth versus Ninetales. These are the sorts of matchups that you are going to be seeing a lot of. Even in teams where you've got, JakeDoesHurdles bringing in his Lugia and his Cradily, you are still going to see these absolute top meta picks in the Alolan Marowak, in the Vigoroth, the Alolan Ninetales, etc. These are good, and the meta is the meta for a reason, but there are some massive core breakers as well, including that Cradily. Holy dooly, it is doing a lot. But Vigoroth throwing another body slam onto this Alolan Ninetales now, getting the first shield from the opponent. No shield from Jake again. Jake is really, we've really seen that he's happy to lose switch advantage because he's always so good on the energy management. He's able to play around a lot of things. He's really got a really good matchup knowledge in his head, so he knows how to get out of a lot of different scenarios, how to play different ways. In comes the Alolan Marowak now, and going for that Shadow Ball chance. If the opponent does not expect the Shadow Ball, this is going to be GG's with that Marowak straight away. And no, there's the shield there. Not going to get Aeroblast Vigoroth this time around. Goes for the Bone Club bait and Jake does fall for it. Now swapping into the Cradily now that there are no more shields in play. One more Bullet Seed and the Stone Edge will go through, and I think the opponent's switch timer won't quite be up yet. I don't think. So it's a Shadow Bone and then one more Bullet Seed. Ooh, actually farms a bit extra now, knowing that Marowak is staying around and is not able to get to a charge move that fast. Goes for the Stone Edge now. Not quite taking out the Marowak. Two more. Oh, able to Bullet Seed down before a charge move comes through. That is huge for Cradily there. Huge for Jake. Getting another Stone Edge off as well onto that Vigoroth, which kind of seems like it's not that much better than the Grass Knot, but it did do like more raw damage. So I guess if you can only get one off before you're going to go down, Stone Edge is probably the way to go. In comes the Marowak here and farming up to the Shadow Bone. Trying to get some extra energy off before having to take it out. Shields up the Bulldoze correctly there, which is really great for Jake here. Going for the Bone Club, hitting all the bubbles. I thought that he might potentially go for a sort of underfarm there, but in comes the... Is it the Alolan Ninetales in the back? Hello? Yeah, there's Alolan Ninetales and it had like no health left. Just stalling out there, and that is GG's on round 5. Time to go into the finals. Going into the final round up against Hot Pocket 777, the current number 2 in the entire world. If you've been watching this channel a while, you know Hot Pocket and you know he is no one to be messed with. And holy dooly, look at that team also. That is such a spicy team. JakeDoesHurdles and Hot Pocket, just absolute monsters in the PvP community, and just bringing some absolute massive spice into these Silph Arena tournaments and smashing it, which is so cool to see. But yeah, in the lead here, we have Cradily up against that Mandibuzz. We've been over it enough times. Mandibuzz is not doing lots of damage with its charge moves, so Cradily doesn't have to worry too much, and Cradily Cradily is just going to keep getting these Stone Ages off, trying to take out Mandibuzz before he kind of just shields into oblivion. But we are going to see the first shield come up from Hot Pocket there on the Stone Age. And actually, Jake decides to swap into the Alolan Ninetales. So getting a bit of energy up. We know Jake loves to get that energy advantage whenever he can. And now going for the Side Shock now, the switch locked into this Jellicent. Not the matchup that he really wants to be stuck into up against Hot Pocket. Well, we'll see the first hint of what Hot Pocket's Jellicent moveset is here. And does go for the Shadow Ball, which is a big deal, doing a lot of damage onto that Alolan Ninetales. And it's actually a Hex Jellicent. I didn't even notice it was a Hex Jellicent. So the really interesting thing about Hex Jellicent, as we said actually earlier in this video, is that Vigoroth is going to be able to beat Jellicent if it has Hex. So I'm not really sure how the Hex Jellicent matchup goes against the Alolan Ninetales, but we are going to find out incredibly shortly. Goes with the Weather Ball here and doesn't quite take it out. Jellicent hanging on by a thread. That is so rough for Jake here, but does get an extra Bullet Seed of energy. Here comes that Shadow Abomasnow, who will be absolutely shreked by this Stone Edge if it goes through. Does not go through though. Hot Pocket burning his second shield and is now left shieldless to Jake's 2 shields. Swapping into Vigoroth here, Abomasnow is in a whole world of hurt here. Jake is really lucky that he does hold on to both shields here, because those Weather Balls will definitely start to add up onto Jake's Vigoroth here. So shielding up both and then hoping to be able to counter down, perhaps getting this Body Slam off that I think would take out the Abomasnow at this range, maybe? Or maybe just not. Oh, just not. A couple more counters required. In comes that Mandibuzz, and we are going to see a charge move, and we are not too worried about it. Going to be able to tank at least 2 charge moves from this Mandibuzz, because Snarl's also not doing much damage either. Gets this Body Slam off, and this should take out the Mandibuzz, and then a couple more counters, and Abomasnow will go down as well. One more counter, and down goes Abomasnow. Going into game 2 now, we're actually seeing Vigoroth up against Mandibuzz this time. So Hot Pocket staying with that same lead. Snarl not doing much. The charge move's not doing much. But, actually swapping into Alolan Ninetales so much faster here. Getting that energy ready to go. Maybe trying to beat out the Jellicent matchup a little bit better this time around. But in comes Escavalier instead. Escavalier, another such interesting picks from these 2 top elite battlers here. Or ace trainers right now. I'm sure that they'll both end up at elite status. But landing the Drill Run is huge for Hot Pocket there. These Weather Balls are not going to do tons of damage because of the Steel typing on a Escavalier, but they will start to add up. So if he can get to another Weather Ball, it would take out this Escavalier, but unfortunately the counters were just adding up too fast. And Vigoroth versus Escavalier, this is a really interesting matchup because counter is going to be super effective to both of the Pokemon here. So gets that Drill Run off, leaving a last minute. That did so much damage too. It is leaving Vigoroth with such a little health after like having barely any health to begin with. Both players holding into both shields now, and Hot Pocket is now switch locked in with his Jellicent up against the Cradily, which is pretty rough for Hot Pocket here. Jake is probably sitting there going, okay, let's not screw this up. There's the Shadow Ball. We haven't actually seen Hot Pocket's second moveset on the Jellicent so we'll have to wait and see if it's Bubble or Ice Beam. Goes for the Stone Edge here to try and take out all of that Mandibuzz's health. Gets it through, takes out so much, and again, do I need to keep saying it, or is it clear enough at this point that Mandibuzz's charge moves do not matter that much? Can tank multiple, pretty much every Pokemon can tank multiple of Mandibuzz's charge moves. I'm not sure of any that can't. I mean, I'm sure Cleffa can't love them, but yeah, up to 100 energy and was trying to swap into Vigoroth there, but the charge move came through at the exact millisecond that the switch window went up, unfortunately for Jake. So swapping into the Vigoroth now, getting this Body Slam off to take out the Mandibuzz. Down it goes, and it is just Hot Pocket now with the 2 shields on his side, just trying to protect this one single Jellicent. Shielding the Body Slam, which is really interesting. Maybe he was worried that it was going to be a Bulldoze to come through, because yeah, Body Slam isn't going to do heaps of damage. Maybe he was just a little bit worried that he was going to go down with 2 shields and didn't want to end up with that mistake. But Jake is going to be able to get a couple more Body Slams off. Looks like Hot Pocket may potentially be going for the Hex down, but that may be a little bit ill-advised. May have to go for a Bubble Beam if he has it. Or actually, did we see an Ice Beam before? I think we saw. I think that Hot Pocket's got. Oh no, there it is, Bubble Beam. I was getting confused with the other opponent. In comes the Cradily, and it was just a mash of the charge moves. But unfortunately for Jake here, the Shadow Ball does come through from the Jellicent, and it is the CMP tie that takes him down. So going into the absolute final battle for all the marbles, and we're seeing another unique pick from Hot Pocket there with the Clefable. Vigoroth up against Clefable. This is such an interesting matchup because unfortunately it doesn't have the normal typing for Vigoroth to take advantage of, like the or the Ice type like Alolan Ninetales. Hot Pocket switching to catch the Body Slam into Jellicent, which is such a great catch from Hot Pocket's end. Just nullifying all of that energy that Jake built up. And we know how Jake gets about his energy too. Bringing in the Cradily now, farming up to looks like almost the double grass knot, but getting one off early. Does not want to get hit by a Bubble Beam bait to reduce the effectiveness of this grass knot even more. So getting the first shield and getting a second shield before a charge move can come through from Pocket here, which is absolutely great for Jake. Burning both shields off of Hot Pocket. And now we're back in this scenario where Jake has the 2 shields to Hot Pocket 0. What is with these people? They are so many levels above my play level. It is just insane. Swapping into the Clefable now and is able to clutch get the grass knot off onto the Clefable before going down. Does do a fair chunk of damage as well too. Could either kind of remember either pick there. Decides to bring in the Vigoroth now that Hot Pocket has no shields. This Body Slam will just take out the Clefable there. Swapping into the Ninetales as soon as possible to get as much energy as possible. Does want to keep that Vigoroth around for later. Maybe the Body Slam spam can become OP. But burning the first shield on this dual run here, successfully protecting that Ninetales from too much damage. Now going to go for a couple of back-to-back Weather Balls, trying to do as much damage as possible onto this Escavalier. So one takes out a bit about that chunk. One more Weather Ball will also take out, well, funnily enough, about the same amount of chunk, and then one more Weather Ball will be required to take out the Escavalier. So one more Powder Snow. Does not quite get there. Jake deciding to burn the shield, keeping the Vigoroth for later on, and almost at this Weather Ball now. Gets the Weather Ball, but Jellicent came in. Hot Pocket trying to catch the Weather Ball there, but Jake was too smart for him, knew what was going on, and kept the Psyshock ready to go. Is probably going to, well, has to let the Alolan Ninetales take this charge move. It is the Shadow Ball. Going to take out the Alolan Ninetales there. Vigoroth has to counter down this Jellicent. The charge move is coming through. Please, just praying that it is a Bubble Beam. Is the Bubble Beam? Is the debuffed Vigoroth going to be able to take out the Escavalier with this Body Slam? That is all what it comes down to. Body Slam coming through. I think it might do it. I think Escavalier might be too low. Goes through and takes out Escavalier. JakeDoesHurdles taking out the 6-0 sweep. Massive accomplishment and rocketing up to number 30 in the entire world. So massive congrats to JakeDoesHurdles. Again, his Twitch channel is in the link in the description below. Do go give him a follow so you can see this stuff happening live. Absolutely insane stuff. You could have been using Cradily and Lugia days ago and absolutely rocking the competition, or stone edging the competition, grass rocking the competition. But anyway, thank you to Jake for sharing this footage for all of us to see. Absolutely insane stuff, and I'm so looking forward to see what Jake does in the future. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Silph content in the future, because we are doing so much of it here on this channel. And if you aren't quite done with watching this, all this sweeping action, you can watch CEO as a Beast sweep another Labyrinth Cup tournament 5-0 in the top video there, or you can watch that bottom video, which is me kind of discussing with a bunch of the Ghost Stadium analysts, diving into the Labyrinth Cup meta, picking some brains, so lots of info that is there to pick up as well. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Subscribe.